We are back for Thunder, and we've got a few titles on the line here. We have got the Hardcore title back on the line, we have got the Cruiserweight title on the line, and we have got the Interim World title on the line. So, let's start here. We're going to have a Hardcore title. Konnan is going to have his first match in the Hardcore division, and he's going to win the title from David Flair in Flair's first defence. Dustin Rhodes here is laying into Scott Steiner. He's saying he's coming back for him, but he's also hyping up his match tonight for the Interim World Championship with Goldberg. The winner of this gets to face Scott Steiner, because whoever has the Interim World Championship will face Steiner, but Steiner's going to interfere to help Goldberg win, and there's going to be a little bit of a controversy over it. It's not going to be a clean win for Goldberg, so it's going to end up a three-way match, possibly on Nitro, possibly on Showdown. I will decide that, but there's going to be Goldberg, Steiner, and Dustin Rhodes in a three-way for the title after this. Shane Douglas is going to beat Hugh Morrus. The Rat Pack beat 5-Star Attraction at the pay-per-view. Nothing happened last show, so this is like a little follow-up. The leaders of the two factions are going to go head-to-head, and Shane Douglas is going to win cleanly. An interview with Nash and Buff to keep them happy, to keep that feud going with the Mamalukes, and to be honest, I want to get that feud over with, because it's not gone too well, but I don't want to end it off camera, because that'll do a lot more damage. Cruiserweight title, Chris Candido is going to retain over Chavo Guerrero. Chavo Guerrero's gimmick that I introduced a few weeks ago didn't go down well, so he's got a new gimmick now, and I'm hoping, I know he could lose a bit of overness because it's very soon after his last one, but I think long term it will be a good move. Interview with Sid Vicious, he wants a rematch with Sting. He believes he's a better man, and reluctantly Sting is going to give in and give him his rematch. When that'll be, it'll be in the next two shows, I'm sure. Dark Warriors are here again, and they are against the former tag champs, the Mamalukes, and of course the Mamalukes are on course to win, but then who interferes? Nash and Buff, and they cost the Mamalukes the win. Interview with Rey Mysterio, he says Kanyon can't keep running from him. Canyon's not good enough to face him for the US title. Canyon's scheduled to face Shane Helms. Rey Mysterio's going to try and interfere, but he's not going to be successful, and Canyon's going to beat Helms regardless. The reason Canyon's going to face Helms is because he requested it. And usually, when a fighter requests to fight another fighter, it goes down well. Before the main event, we have got a great angle involving LeRoux and Jeff Jarrett, who didn't appear on the last show. LeRoux, who beat Jeff Jarrett, surprisingly, is going to sneak up behind Jeff Jarrett and attack him. And I think that'll go down really well, because the fans will be wanting to know what Jarrett is going to do next on Showdown. So let's start this show. David Flair, Konnan, quite a good score for a hardcore match. Hardcore title was gained image. Dustin Rhodes backstage, that went very well. Pleased with that. Hugh Morrus, Shane Douglas, obviously not a great match, and I'm glad I didn't make it into a feud. Just very average, really. Buff Bagwell gained overness from this, that's good, and that's a better score than they usually get for their interviews, so that's a positive. Look at that match quality, 99%. Fans were confused by the gimmick change. I knew they would be, but if his gimmick I gave him wasn't working, I had to change it because he was going to lose overness anyway. But this is a possible feud. Chavo and Chris put on some good matches there. Sid Vicious backstage went pretty well. I want to get his promos into the 80s. How you can improve them, I'm not so sure. Just getting him over by matches, I guess, or giving him more interviews that are going well. And angles, of course. Mamalukes, Dark Warriors. Dark Warriors, that's a good score, good rating for them. So I'm pleased about that, and it keeps the feud. Well, it gives another victory to the Nash and Buff in that feud, which means it's closer to being ended. Okay. Rey Mysterio backstage. He's been cutting some very good interviews recently. Chris Kanyon, Shane Helms. What a match. And if Chris Kanyon wasn't feuding Rey Mysterio at the minute, he'd probably be feuding Shane Helms. And that would do Shane Helms so much good. You know, he could be one of the most over guys in the company. Well, after Canyon's finished feuding with Rey Mysterio, it's a possible feud, Kanyon and Helms. So I will bear that in mind. That went down as well, LeRoux and Jeff Jarrett. And the main event, 66, well, Goldberg, Dusty Rhodes. It got 5% more than Goldberg's match with Dustin's dad. So it's an improvement, but it's still a bad match. And Goldberg, he's still sluggish, you know. It's just ridiculous at the moment with Goldberg. At the end of the month, I'm going to have to make a decision. And you know what? If I release Goldberg, maybe Kevin Nash's mood will be lifted and Buff Bagwell's. I can't keep an unhappy worker indefinitely, and if WWF want to sign him, let them. But we'll see. Look at that, 73%. That is a surprisingly high score. I didn't expect to get that high. But we are back on track, and that's what you get for putting on some good matches and some good segments. Ironically, for worst part of the show, other than the hardcore title match, was the main event. So there we go. Oh, and the Dark Warriors Mamalukes. Quite a few standouts. The best being the interview with Dustin Rhodes. So let's finish. Let's see what mail we have. Good rating for Thunder, that. Dusty Rhodes wants to work with Kevin Nash again. Okay. Johnny for Bull doesn't like Rick Steiner. Okay, they worked pretty well together, but the match didn't go down too well. Makes sense. Let's go to Saturday. We're going to get any more news? No, let's have a look at our unhappy workers. Goldberg has actually gone up to 17. Rey Mysterio stayed the same. Nash and Bagwell stayed the same as well, but they are not going down. That's going down well. It's such a shame Booker T is injured at the moment. And that, look at that. Shane Helms is the fourth biggest babyface in the company. Where's Goldberg? Oh, Goldberg's a heel, that's why. So Dustin Rhodes has gone below Mike Awesome. That is worrying, that. Dustin Rhodes. He is losing overness, Dustin Rhodes. There's no way I can put the world title on him. I've had to demote him to upper mid-carder. His main event push hasn't gone down too well. I thought it would have done. But there we go. Let's have a look. Scott Steiner's winning 6-4. Let's give Scott Steiner an interview next show. Keep developing. Yeah. Lance Storm the Cat, they didn't feature at the last show. There we go. Kevin Nash and Buff versus the Mamalukes. Dusty Rhodes, you'll have to wait for your match with Kevin Nash, because we have got the Mamalukes here waiting for their feud with Nash and Buff to end. So there we go. Okay, let's leave the video there, and I'll be back for Saturday Showdown with some more news.